When people think of the truth, they think of something that is definitive, something that is set in stone. And it actually makes sense to think that way because most people consider life to be easier when there's a defined set of rules to follow. So the question now becomes, is the truth actually definitive and unchangeable? And the answer is, it depends on what truth you're referring to. There are two main types of truth, namely objective and subjective truth. Objective truth is based on what is currently observed and seen, whereas subjective is based on what is unseen. I'll explain with examples. Now, for the objective, if somebody says this ball is round, there will be no doubt of that statement being correct because the definition of a ball is a round three-dimensional object. Literally, the word round means having no edges. So this is an objectively true statement. That means if you were to say the ball is rectangular, that would be an objectively untrue statement. So it is observable. Now for the subjective side, let's say we had two people. The first person makes the statement, hard work makes you successful. And the second person says, hard work doesn't make you successful. We can't definitively say that either of these statements are true while the other is false. Because there are people who work very hard, 80 hours plus a week, and are not successful, or at least not what society considers successful. And there are people who do work hard and are successful. So with that, you can see how two completely different statements on paper can both be simultaneously true. The reason for this is these two individuals are experiencing their own different realities. Their belief systems about life, and in this case about work, are completely different. And that is why the subjective truth deals with the unseen, because it's based on personal lived experience and beliefs. Now, it's important to understand that these two truths exist in two different dimensions of your consciousness. The quote-unquote objective in the third dimension and the subjective in the fifth dimension. Now, because the third dimension is filled with so much confusion, naturally, any individual who solely exists there would need to be told what to do. It's like that's why you have many people saying that they have no idea what they're doing with their lives because their consciousness is trapped in the third dimensional limited way of thinking. So that's why they need rules to live. They resort to hive mind thinking. And this is why individual thought is very discouraged among third dimensional individuals because they literally don't understand how it works. Now, the subjective truth is in the fifth dimension. It's where the higher mind, the higher self resides. So it's subjective because you can create whatever reality that you want. You can create your own laws about life. You can mold whatever mindset that you want for yourself. That's what I was saying in the example earlier. Now, where it gets even more interesting is when you realize that despite the objective truth being called objective, it isn't actually objective. Because what people every day in society consider to be truth changes all the time. An example is Albert Einstein's discovery on the relativity of time. Before Einstein, people thought that time was absolute. But after Einstein's contribution to physics, people accepted that time is relative. So you see what happened? Before Einstein, the phrase time is relative wasn't an objective truth. But after Einstein, it was an objective truth. So that alone completely disproves the notion of anything being objective. But again, three-dimensional individuals need to believe in an objective truth. Whatever that is, it doesn't matter because it gives them stability in a world of confusion. So the reality is there is no one defined truth. However, what does exist and are constant throughout reality are the 7 universal laws, namely the law of vibration, the law of correspondence, the law of mentalism, the law of polarity, the law of gender, the law of cause and effect, and the law of rhythm. Now, the law of correspondence just acknowledges the different planes of existence. What happens in planes above happens in the planes below. I talk about the planes of existence in my What is Reality video. The law of mentalism just acknowledges that reality exists in the mind. All the other 5 laws are pretty much the same. They talk about the duality of the universe. Everything is dual in nature. Every single thing, the fabric of existence of the universe stems from all these laws. You're going to see them in every religion, every science, every single belief system. It doesn't matter. All these laws remain a constant. Now, the difference between these and what most people would call an objective truth is very, very observable. Now, let's say that you had a statement that said there is a man in the sky who lives in this destination called heaven. The problem with that is that isn't something that is proven. Therefore, it cannot be an objective truth based on the definition of an objective truth. Whereas these seven laws are easily proven because we see them in our everyday lives.